This is not exactly what I had in mind when we're talking about self-love. What if I told you that the big concepts about self-love that we've all been taught are actually wrong? So today we're going to blow apart the myths when it comes to self-love, and I'm going to give you 4 proven practices that you can do that actually increase self-love. Let me ask you a question. What do you think about when you hear the term self-love? What comes to mind? What images? Often people think about self-love and they think about self-care. So they will think about giving themselves a bubble bath or a massage or going for a long walk. And while these are attributes of loving yourself, they don't actually get to the root of what grows true, authentic self-love. And so we're going to unpack these deeper concepts. But before we do, let's take a look at some of the objections that rise up in us when we think about self-love that actually prevent us from exploring this topic, because there's some major internal resistances. One of which is that self-love is selfish. Many of us have been programmed growing up that we shouldn't be focused on ourselves. We should just suck it up, toughen up, get with it, go through life. It's okay. Like, you're just weak if you need to practice self-love and really nurture yourself. In those kinds of families or upbringings, we're taught to prioritize other people's needs and give to other people. And the irony is that our ability to give to other people, our ability to really show up for other people hinges upon how filled up we are, how much self-love we actually have so that we can give to others. So we can actually do a quick thought reframe where if there's an old part of us that thinks that self-love is actually selfish or indulgent, we can reframe it saying, no, that self-love is an essential ingredient for actually being a loving person to others. The other objection that seems to rise up is this thought that, well, if I practice self-love, then I'm giving up on love itself. Like, if I'm practicing self-love, then I'm somehow resigning myself or settling for the fact that I'll never have a relationship, because what we really want is that relationship from another person and that deep, profound love experience from that other person. And that if I focus on myself, then I'm saying, well, I'm just now saying I'm never going to have that love. And ironically, the opposite is true, that when we have self-love and we come from that place, we're actually more of a magnet for love from other people. And so the other thought reframe is to think that you are like a tuning fork. And if you're in a place of a lack of love, you're attracting to you or resonating with everything that's in harmony with lack of love or an absence of love. On the other hand, if you're filled up and practicing self-love, just like that tuning fork is going to resonate with everything that's in harmony with it, you're going to attract more love into your life. And the final concept that gets in people's way is that self-love is this quick fix. That if I practice self-love, then immediately I'm going to feel more love from others or attract more love from others. And so they do affirmations and the bubble bath and they get the massage and they go out and treat themselves. And then when it doesn't work, they're like, well, that self-love stuff just doesn't even work and I'm not going to practice it. Let's blow apart those myths, because we know that self-love isn't really about bubble baths or massages or about being selfish or settling, but instead it's about setting the stage for welcoming the kind of love that you know you're worthy of. You're not willing to settle because you know the kind of love that you deserve. So what are the ways that we actually grow that self-love? Well, there are 4 proven and researched practices. And I'm going to draw a couple of these practices from Dr. Nathaniel Branden, who wrote an amazing book called The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem. Some people think, well, you either have self-esteem or you don't. You're either born with it or you're not. And that's not true at all. Self-esteem is a muscle. It can be developed. It can grow. You can improve on it over time. And self-esteem is the foundation for self-love. And so I'll share with you this first practice. Imagine a little cub and a mother bear that's taking care of that little cub. If any threat gets near that little cub, what's the mother bear going to do? The mother bear is going to rise up on her hind legs. She's going to protect that cub. She's going to stand up for the cub. Well, imagine that your heart is like that little cub and your conscious mind is the mother bear. The first practice that Dr. Branden talks about is self-assertiveness, the willingness to stand up for yourself when it matters, the willingness to rock the boat, the willingness to hold the line, to hold your boundaries, to speak your standards. What that does is when there's something that happens, like let's say someone wants to take you out on a date. They want to go to a particular restaurant and you're not feeling that restaurant. You don't really want to go there. And your thought is, should I say something or not? The practice of self-assertiveness is being assertive in that moment and saying, hey, I love to go out with you and I'm really not a fan of that kind of food or that kind of place. Would you be willing to try out one of these other options or pick a different type of food and take us there? When we stand up for ourselves like that, an amazing thing happens. Literally, our heart realizes that, oh, we're going to protect ourselves. We're going to vie for ourselves. Our needs, our wants, our desires matter. They're important enough to speak up. And when we demonstrate to both our heart and our subconscious mind, our whole beingness, that we matter, our self-esteem naturally goes up. Our self-love naturally goes up. Dr. Brandon really breaks it down like this. Self-assertiveness equals self-love. So just like that mama bear willing to stand up for the cub that she loves, are we willing to demonstrate love to ourselves by speaking up? Now here's the cool part. Standing up for yourself doesn't have to look like a grizzly bear attacking, right? We don't have to get all angry or any of that. No, it's simply speaking your wants, speaking your needs, advocating for yourself in moments that really matter to you. Just that is extremely powerful in terms of self-love. So the second practice comes from one of my mentors, Dr. Gay Hendricks, and he wrote this great book called Learning to Love Yourself. It's this little book, extremely powerful. And in that book, he's got a practice. And the practice is ask yourself the self-love question. On a daily basis, you ask yourself this question. And the question is, you close your eyes and you ask, is there anything in me that needs my love and acceptance right now? And then you listen. You listen, you tune into your body. Your body's got amazing intelligence. And then you listen, and it might be that you're feeling a little bit insecure about performance at work, or you're feeling sad that you haven't met someone in a while, or that you're feeling down because maybe you don't feel as attractive as other people or as desired as other people, and that part of you needs your love and acceptance right now. And just listen. Mahatma Gandhi says, intuition is incredibly powerful and speaks to all of us all the time, and it's as loud as our willingness to listen. So this is a small practice on a daily basis where we close our eyes and we just listen. What in me needs my love and acceptance right now? And then imagine that your heart space is open and is like a beam of love, and you send a warm beam of love to that place in you that might be scared, that place in you that might be feeling insecure, that place in you that might be feeling sad or frustrated. And you send that warm beam of love to that place in you, and you take a few deep breaths, and then you move forward. Sometimes people think, well, self-love has to be these big acts, like I take a vacation for myself, or go and take a few hours to get a massage. Literally, the practice of self-love in this regard, 30 seconds. Where you close your eyes, place your hands on your heart. Is there anything in me that needs my love and acceptance right now? And just notice and ask, and then send a warm beam of love to that place, and you'll notice your energy will soften, your heart will open, and your self-love will rise. Again, it's a muscle. It grows over time. I'll give you a quick example of this one. When I was growing my speaking career and I was launching my business, there was a moment where I got invited to speak with incredible speakers and trainers on this epic stage where it was the movie The Secret had just come out. And so speaking on that stage was Bob Proctor, Michael Beckwith, Lisa Nichols, John Asraf, all like the stars of The Secret. And the bill was all these amazing people and Matt Boggs. And there was a part of me, and I was a no name at that point. I had not done very many speaking engagements, but I knew my content, I knew it was good, but still there was a feeling of insecurity. Maybe you've been there. Maybe you want to ask for that promotion. There's a part of you that knows you can own it and another part of you that's insecure. You want to launch that business or take something to the next level. And there's a part of you that believes, but another part of you that's feeling a little insecure. This is a great moment to pause, hands on your heart, close your eyes, which I did. In this moment, I'm backstage, I'm about to go on this major stage, and I said, is there anything in me that needs my love and acceptance right now? And it was, I'm feeling insecure that I might not be good enough for this stage. And I sent myself a warm beam of love, saw my whole body filled up from head to toe with love, emanating love. So I could bring love to that moment, and I could bring love to that audience. And here's the cool thing. At the end of the entire week, it was a week-long event and seminar. I spoke on night one. At the end of the week, when they did a survey of who their favorite speakers was, I was at the very top. And I don't say that to brag. I say that because this practice is so powerful. I really believe that that was the mark because people could feel the love that I was able to generate in that moment that would not have been the case without this practice. The third practice, proven to amplify our self-love, comes again from Dr. Nathaniel Branden, and it is the practice of being your own best friend. If you're like most of us, we're trained to be critical of ourselves. We've been trained to berate ourselves when we make a mistake. And often we are way harder on ourselves than we would be on other people. If you think about how do you talk to your best friend? Like when they make a mistake, are you the one that pats them on the back and you're like, hey, it's okay, we got this, just here, focus on the positive. Here's a way it can work out, and you're supportive of them. But when it comes to ourselves and we make a mistake, it's often, how could we be so stupid and we're worthless and we don't amount to much? And maybe you've trained yourself to not speak to yourself that way, which I hope you have. By and large, most people are way more critical on themselves than they are on other people. So the mental frame is to say, okay, I'm going to adopt a best friend mentality for myself. And so then when you make a mistake or something doesn't go right, the question is, how would my best friend act in this moment towards me? What would my best friend say to me right now? And then that's what you say to yourself. And so instead of berating ourselves or criticizing ourselves or tearing ourselves down, we're actually building ourselves up. We're saying, it's okay, you got this. It's okay, it's all gonna work out. You know what? You're gonna get it next time, whatever the case is. And for those of us who think, well, then I'm not gonna learn. Like, how am I gonna improve if I actually encourage myself when I make a mistake? Here's what's wild. Psychologists have now discovered that we actually replicate behavior that we give ourselves the most attention for. And it doesn't matter positive or negative attention. If it's negative attention, meaning criticizing, berating, a high internal volume, then we're actually more likely to replicate that behavior. Dr. Cherie Carter Scott was telling a story about how she left her keys in her car, locked her keys in her car, and the car was left running. She went in to get groceries, came back, realized the car is locked, and she's got a whole basket full of groceries. This was back when you could actually do that, right? The keys didn't sense that the keys were in the car. And so she immediately went into an old pattern of like, how could I be so dumb? Oh my gosh, I've got a meeting to get to. Now this is gonna fall apart. And like, oh, I always do this. I'm never, da, da, da. And then she paused herself and she thought, oh my gosh, she had lost her keys. She had done this before. And she realized, I'm actually reinforcing this behavior by condemning myself right now. And so instead, she took a deep breath and she said, you know what? Mistakes happen. I'm going to learn for this. I'm going to create a new system. And it was in a calm, even keel manner. And she called AAA. They came out, opened the car, and she was on her way. But by shifting that mode, she was able to actually shift that pattern and get the lesson that she wanted without all of the critical energy. And this moves us perfectly into practice number 4. And the practice number 4 is to release the need to be perfect. Release perfection. Give yourself a big giant pass on having to measure up all the time and having to be perfect. Because the irony is when we get down on ourselves for not having enough self-love, like let's imagine you're gonna ask yourself, what in me needs my love and acceptance today? And you don't feel anything come up. Like it's just silence. And you're like, gosh, dang it, I know I can never do this, right? And like we get mad at ourselves for not being able to do it good enough. Well, that's where this practice kicks in. When you can release the need to be perfect, you create this beautiful space of creativity. You create this beautiful space of freedom to be and to express and to do and to give and to love. It's this beautiful open energy. And guess what? It's this field of energy that others feel comfortable in. It's this field of energy that others feel supported by. It's this field of energy that others feel most loved up in. And you can see why now these are the deeper layers. It's not about the massage if your mental attitude is berating your body while the person is massaging you, saying, I'm not in shape enough, right? It's not about the bubble bath if while in the bubble bath, you're thinking about how you didn't do things perfect at work. These are way deeper practices that as you do them, you get stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger in your self-love. You're able to give love more freely to others because you're standing in this well of self-love and self-esteem that's beautiful and powerful, and other people feel amazing in your presence. My question for you is, what practices have you learned that have really been meaningful for you in terms of increasing your own level of self-love? I would love to hear that. We've got an amazing community here. So go ahead and post those in the comment section below. Here's to your expansive expression of greater self-love in the world. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.